Alright, so I am inside a new directory, a new project. So it calls rnative01. And of course, all of these projects are going to go to you so you can compare code. So this is the first one, right? So I'm going to open the terminal. I'm going to go here and I'm going to do cd ... and I'm going to go to the parent directory of this rnative01, right? If I do ls, I can see my expo test, it's a previous project, and rnative. All right. So now, of course, we need to start an application not with Expo. And again, if we go to the documentation, we can see that we have the quick start, Expo, and building projects with native code. I'm on Mac, I'm going to go Mac. And for Windows and Mac, we have some different instructions, but when we get there, just going to tell you what to do on Mac and Windows. So we've already did this. What we need to do now, and let me just find it, is create a new application. We're gonna need to do some of this in a couple minutes, but I'm just gonna let you know what we need to do. Don't worry. So since we have the native CLI installed, we need to do React native and the name of the project. That's the only thing we need to do. So I'm gonna do React native. You will need to do the same thing, init, and then the name of the project. Mine, it's rnative01. Oh, 01. Since I've already have this project, right, the name of that directory on this working directory, I'm going to press enter and it says, you know, that directory already exists. Do you want to continue? Yeah, I would just, you know, put the files inside of there. And then, of course, it's going to go and put whatever logic we need to put. You know, it's going to put all the files in there. All right, a lot of talking and doing this, it's, you know, it just kills your mind. All right, so I'm gonna wait until this is done. It's gonna take a couple seconds and I'll be right back. Okay, so everything got installed. So notice that the structure of the directory is a little bit different, right? So at the end, when everything gets installed, we get run app iOS, and they give you the commands to run a native application in your iOS emulator, and then you get Android. Now, before doing this, it says have an Android emulator running. So the thing is that before you can do this, you need to open the emulator. With Mac, with iOS, you don't need to do that. You just run the command and it will open automatically. Now we need to open the Android device. So for that, we need Android Studio. And just let me tell you right now, because maybe you're watching this and you need to go to a different place in 5 minutes. This is going to take time. It's going to take like an hour, depending on your connection and your computer, because of course we need to download more things. I'm sorry, but we need to download more things. So I'm going to go and find the Android Studio right here. I'm going to press enter and let's give it a minute. All right, almost there. So sometimes it takes a while, and and this is a fast computer, and it's taking. All right, I get it right here on a different screen. Let me just 1 second. Let me just show you. And okay, so once you open everything, you're gonna get this screen. Now, instead of starting a new application and anything else, we want to open an existing Android Studio project. And this is because we are doing React Native. So React Native gives you a default application inside the Android directory, and inside the iOS, they give you an iOS directory. Of course, everything is bare naked, but this is a working application for Android or iOS. So instead of just creating a new one, we want to open an existing Android Studio project. Now I'm going to go to my document. I'm going to go to React Native. I'm going to go to projects, and right here, I want to access rnative. Now, if you open this directory, the parent directory, it will open the whole project, and we don't need to do that. We want to open only the Android. So I'm going to open. And of course, this is going to open. Let me just show you right here. And of course, I'm going to just close. Now, as soon as you open your directory, your project, it's going to start syncing, or it's going to start doing all the sync and everything that it's going to bring the files, read your project, and check if you need something. And in this case, this is happening. It says that there is a plugin update. Now, when you install the application in your course, in your directory, this has a version of all the packages that we are using. Now, it tells me right now that we have an update and you should upgrade. The problem is that right now, today, this date, if I do the update, it will create some problems with the plugins and everything else, so nothing is going to really work. So in my case, or maybe it's your case because you're watching this, maybe on this date or maybe in a month or something like that, but maybe you're watching this course in, I don't know, 6 months, and everything is going to be up to date in your React Native project, so maybe you don't get this. But for now, I'm just going to say don't remind me again for this project because we don't want to update. If you update, it's going to fail. Now, again, if you're watching this this current date, you're going to get something like this. The build tools to 2802 is ignored and 2803 will be used, and that is okay. This is a warning. It's not an error. So that's okay. We don't need to remove the build tools and sync project. It's going to do it for us, right? That's okay. You just, let it be. Okay. So now we need to do a couple more things before we can run the simulator. I've already, I have everything installed in my application, but if you're running this for this Android Studio for the first time, you're gonna get some problems because you need to install more tools. I've already installed everything in this case because this is gonna take some time, and right now I'm filming on a place where I don't have a lot of connection. So yeah, I did it in my home. I have a pretty large, good connection. So if we go to the documentation, we're gonna go here. All right, we download, we go at the bottom, and it's right here, this section. It says the SDK manager can also be found within the Studio preferences. So we need to check that we have this installed. So how do we do it? Well, I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna go to Android Studio and then preferences. Okay. So once you go here, we need to go to System Settings, Android SDK, and the first thing we need to check is the SDK platforms. So it says right here, make sure that the Android SDK platform 28 is selected. So if we, just check it, when we go right here, Android, that's what we need to do. Sorry for that, I just forgot that step. You need to select Android 9.0 Pi in this case and show package details. So when you go right there, you're gonna see Android SDK platform 28. I'm pretty sure that with all the installation we did, you've already have it, right? I'm pretty sure of that. Then it says make sure you have Intel 86 Atom 64 or Google API. It says or, but we need both. And I believe that's a typo. So if you go to your computer, I'm pretty sure that you will get the Google APIs 86 checked, but you will not have the Intel 86 Atom. So you will need to check on that to click it, all right? And then select apply. And this is going to take you to the next screen, which is going to say license agreement and everything else. And it's like I believe it's 2 gigabytes of information, so it is going to take a while, and you will need to download it. All right. Of course, you will need to pause the video, download, and then move forward on this section. Now, then we need more things. So let me just try to find the documentation. I'm not really finding. Next, it says next select SDK tools. Notice we are not on SDK tools. We are on SDK platforms. So they made it really difficult to read because this is very small, and you will need. I would like an image maybe here. So if we go to SDK tools, it says the box to show package details. We got this. And it says Android SDK build tools. So if we go here and we say Android SDK build tools and we show the package, it says make sure that you have the 2803. And if we go down, we should be getting this. If you don't have it, you need to click on it and do the same thing, apply, and then it will go and download. So once you download the Intel 86 and the other one, the 2803, if you don't have it, we are kind of ready. So I'm gonna go and click OK. Now the next thing is just, open the simulator. I'm going to open the simulator, and this is the one I get. I'm going to create a new one because I've already did this on my computer. I'm going to create a new virtual device, and you will need to do it. Of course, you can select pretty much whatever you want right here. I'm going to select Nexus X5X. That's okay. I'm going to click Next. And then you're going to get different options. I actually don't have it for this one, and I don't want to download it. I've used a Nexus 6 for my phone, so I'm going to use Nexus 6. So once you get it, you select your simulation, your Android emulator. You're going to get, release name and everything else. Now, if you never did this, you're going to get the download besides the version of what we want to run, which is Pi. If you don't have it, right, you will need to download if you want to run this simulation, the Nexus 6. Now, of course, you will need to download, and you will need to download more things again. Sorry for that. We need to do it. So if this is the case, right, after you download everything, of course, you just need to select Pi. You just move forward to next, and right here it gives you, the ability to change the name. So you click on, you change the name, and then you click on Finish, and you have your new simulator. Now you could use this one, but you need to make sure that you have the API 28 or whatever the documentation it's telling you, right? Right here we have the 28. Maybe you're watching this in I don't know, 6 months, and you're gonna get the 30, for example. So if you want to run this, I'm gonna edit. Of course, you're gonna be able to run it, right? So you just click on play, and it's gonna run it. I'm gonna run this one, which is my phone. I'm gonna click, and this is gonna, open the simulator. Let me just, one second, let me just show it to you. I have it on the other screen. I'm gonna go right here, and here you get the emulator. Now again, if you have a slow computer, this is gonna take a while. All right, and we are pretty much ready. Once you get the emulator working with the 28 and the Pi and everything else, we can run the a simulation on our application. But before we can do that, we need to do something else. Yeah, sorry for that. We need to go here, and this depends on which computer you're running. Right now I'm on the Mac documentation. Let me just show you a Mac and then Android. So if you go right here at the bottom, it says add the following lines to your home.bash profile. Now you will need to add this to your bash profile. If you of course have experience with the terminal in Mac, you just need to add this. If you don't have much of experience, I'm just going to show you how to do it. What you need to do nano.bash_profile. Now once you press enter, it's going to show you something pretty blank. In my case, it's just showing me this because I have a lot of configuration. I already did it. So I have like this. I clean it up a little bit. So what you will need to do is just copy all of this. Just copy. And on the terminal, just go down, and you just need to paste it, just like that. Of course, I've already have it. I don't really need to paste it, so I'm gonna just pretty much delete everything. Sorry for that. I didn't want it to paste. So let me just exit without saving. All right, I'm gonna go again there. Now after you paste it, at the bottom it says click on exit. So you will need to do Control X, and it's gonna ask you if you want to save it. Right? You just save it, and you press enter, and you're gonna get back here. Now what this is gonna do is gonna add all of these rules to your path. Now the Android needs to use the terminal and the paths in your computer to run the simulation from the VS Code. Remember that this application, the VS Code and the Android Studio are not related. So when we do right here, run native, React Native, run Android, this will run some commands, and it needs to connect with the simulation we have right here in our computer. So if you don't complete this step, nothing is going to run in your simulator, in your emulator. So how can you check that this it's installed? So let's give it go right here. After you edit the bash profile, and of course all of this is in Mac. On the next video, I'm going to show you how to do this on Windows. I'm going to close the terminal, and I'm going to open a new terminal. Let me just make sure I close it. I'm going to open a new terminal. Now, what you need to do, you need to type echo $, and path. This is going to give you some strings. If you never installed this, never did this in your computer, you're not going to get the library Android SDK. You're just going to get user's bin. This is the only thing you're going to get. So if you install this, you added this to your bash profile correctly, you're going to get all of this crap. Yeah. So if you get this, you're good to go, man. So you're ready. The next thing is going to be running the Android emulation. Now I'm going to do it right now so we can test the emulator on Mac. But on the next section, I'm going to go to Windows, and I'm going to show you how to edit the environment variables, which is pretty much the same thing than this, but for Windows. If you already know how to add things to your environment variables, if you go to the documentation, go all the way to the bottom, and right here it tells you the step 3, which is adding everything you need to add to your path right here, Android Home, and then you're going to need to add platform tools. So these are the steps for Windows, and then we can run the simulation. Now I'm going to do it right now, and then I'm going to go to the next video and show you how to do this on Windows if you don't know how to work with your environment variables. So I'm going to run my native application on Android. So React native, you should do the same thing, and then run, and then Android. Once this is done, I'm going to press enter, and of course I made a mistake because I am on the parent directory. If I do ls, notice I am on the parent, so I'm going to do cd our native 01, and I'm going to do clear, and then React native, and then run Android. All right, this is what we need to do. I'm going to press enter, and again, depends on your computer, it will open a new terminal, and it's going to do pretty much everything right here. It will configure your application, do the build, and like I told before, if you have a slow computer, this might take 6 or 8 or 7 minutes, depends on your computer. This one is really fast. It's going to take maybe 2 minutes. So let's I'm going to wait until this is done. And okay, once it's done, it's going to start building things in your, of course, your dependency. It's building your application. And if you go to the Android Studio, you're going to get the emulator, you're going to see loading, and there you go, you get the app. So we spent like a day installing things just to get things running on the simulator. And that's what we need to do. That's what we got to do. Comes with the job. Now, let me tell you, after you install everything and you're able to run the simulation on the emulator, you're pretty much done. Everything else, it's just easy to do. We can go to the app.js. You can get a bunch of things. Don't worry, we're gonna get rid of that. And welcome to React Native. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna save it, and if we reload it, we get the changes. So it's, that's it. This is the last thing we need to do. The pain, it's over. On the next section, of course, I'm going to show you how to do the environment variables and how to run the iOS simulator if you're on a Mac, which is really simple. We don't need to do pretty much. We don't need to do anything. And then we're going to start with the actual React Native. We're going to start learning all of this. So let's go to the next one. If you're a Windows user, I'm going to show you the environment variables. If not, just move on to the other one, which is using the Xcode emulator.